Hello my beautiful friends, it's Amanda here. Today is the day that I get to tell you about the collaboration that I've been working on. This has been over a year in the making, and sitting down and showing you this on camera, it just doesn't seem like a real thing that would ever actually happen. And look, there's more. There's other palettes too. Look, it's my friends. Today I get to tell you about the Flora Story palette, which is my collaboration with ODEN'S Cosmetics. What? What? I'm also going to show you the Planet Spirit and Sea Talk palettes, which are collaborations with Betty Jean, aka Batty Bean, and Lauren May Beauty. I couldn't be happier that this collaboration is with Lauren and Betty Jean. These two are not only friends of mine, but they're also just really talented, fun, smart creators that I have a lot of respect for. So we're gonna look at their palettes too. I have a whole lot of information about the release, about these palettes, but first I just want to show you this palette close up because I can show it to you now. Oh my goodness. This is Flora Story, that's me. I have all of these beautiful plants and flowers all around me and some little bees. I really wanted the bees here because these are sort of symbolic bees. My grandma's name is Bee. She's B-E-A, not B-E-E, but wanted the bees added for my grandma Bee. Then the outer packaging is a sleeve that just slides off. Same artwork on the cover of the palette. The main difference is that the sleeve has the ingredients list and the back of the palette has the shade names. Similar, very dreamy plant life type of artwork on the back here. Oh, there's me again. This is a heavy duty cardboard. It does have a magnetic closure. And then inside we have a mirror. There's my face again. I'm going to be staring at you while you do your eyeshadow. I chose a nice, fresh, clean palette to show you. Obviously, I haven't used this one. The one I've been using is very dirty and beat up, as it should be. But I wanted you to see these shades in their fresh, clean form, especially because the matte shades all have this little leaf print. And you know I love a printed powder. So here's the palette close up. I have so many reasons behind all of the shades and the shade names and everything that I chose. First, I just want to give you the basic release info about all of these palettes, because once I start talking about this, I'm going to go on a tangent and I'm going to forget to tell you the important stuff. These palettes are releasing on February 14th. I will quadruple check the exact time, and I'm going to put that on the screen here or down in the description box. That way I can let you know exactly what time these will be available. They will only be available on the ODEN'S website, and no affiliate codes, no coupon codes will work on these palettes individually or the bundle of all three. Each individual palette will be priced at $33.90 US, so basically $34. These are all the same size, the same format. You'll see, I'm going to show you close-ups of all the palettes. They are all 10-pan palettes. If you're interested in all three palettes, there will be a bundle option where you can pick up all three Flora Story, Planet Spirit, and Sea Talk all together, and you do get a little bit of a discount if you buy the bundle. The collection bundle price is $91.53 US dollars. ODEN'S loves their little extras, so the first 1,000 customers that order the bundle, so all three palettes, will get this little freebie. It's a little scarf that has the artwork from all three palettes. For the first 1,000 customers that just order an individual palette, they will get one of these ribbons that has the artwork matching the palette that they ordered. You can wear them around your neck, wear them in your hair, you can tie them on your bag, you can just use them to style photos. So these are limited. They're not going to be available for purchase. They're the free gift with purchase for the first 1,000 people that order either the individual palettes or for the scarf, the whole bundle. Now, when it comes to things like the physical logistics, things like shipping, things like customs fees and all of that stuff, I have absolutely no hand in any of that. All of that stuff is going to be through the brand. So if you have questions about shipping, about costs, about timing, all that stuff, because I'm not part of their company, I'm not a customer service person for them, I don't really have any insight into any of that stuff. Any of those questions, definitely just go straight to the brand, because I just don't have any information. I don't have really any way to do anything about any of that. I do want to let you know that these palettes are going to be limited edition. These are not going to be available long term. ODEN'S basically let me know that if any of these palettes sell out really quickly and there seems to be a demand for it, they would be willing to do one single restock, but this is not something that's going to be around for a long time. They are not planning on keeping this collaboration around for longer than a few months. I don't say that to put any sort of pressure on you. I really just want to make you aware. This is only going to be one restock at the most, and even that is not guaranteed. It just depends on the demand. Okay, hopefully that was all the information-y stuff out of the way. I really want to dig into these palettes and show you close-ups, show you the swatches, and I want to talk a little bit in depth about the shades that I chose, how I envision this palette working. First things first, I knew that I wanted this palette to be half matte, half shimmer. That is really the perfect ratio for me personally when it comes to eyeshadow palettes. So of course there are 5 mattes and 5 shimmer shades in here. This is a very green and purple palette. We do have just a hint of little staple neutrals here. In general, I wanted this to be a colorful palette that had a very neutral undertone throughout. I really wanted to create something that was going to be comfortable enough for those who mainly like to do more neutral or more toned down looks, and those who tend towards the natural makeup. But I also wanted it to be complex and interesting enough to really add something to the collections of, and hopefully inspire those who do lean more towards more bold, more colorful, and more intricate looks. This is truly potentially a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I wanted to make something that I really love and that I hope you're really gonna love too. I designed it so that there would be a matte and shimmer duo. So each column is a matte and a shimmer that can work really well together. And I'll show you some swatches. We can also do eye looks with each one of these duos if that's something that would be helpful to you. And then they're also laid out so that any 4 adjacent colors can make a perfect quad. And obviously you can mix and match however you want, but that was the design in mind, to hopefully make this really user-friendly, easy to grab for a quick 2 shadow look, or obviously you can design something a lot more complicated as well. Here are the eyeshadow duos swatched together. What I'm envisioning is taking the matte shade from one of the duos and packing it all over the lid, and then blending up through the crease towards the brow bone, and then you can just take the shimmer shade and pack that onto the lid. Of course, there's a lot of different variations you could do. Maybe just put it on like the inner corner and kind of blend that metallic shade from the inner corner across towards the middle of the lid, or you could just put the matte in the crease and just put the metallic shade on the lid. There's a lot of different variations that you could do with these simple pairings, and I'm hoping that these will make interesting, varied 2 shadow looks, ranging from soft and more neutral to really bold and colorful, and even some different monochromatic look options as well. I do want to mention this shade Dawn because it's really special. It's a transformative shade. It's a sheer multi-chrome shadow. It's got a translucent base. It pulls really pink. As you can see, I'm wearing it on the inner part of my lids here, but it also has like a golden shift in there as well. I want to show you some swatches of what Dawn looks like layered on top of the 5 mattes in this palette, because you can create some really amazing shades and finishes by layering Dawn over the mattes. So I want to show you what that looks like. Adding Dawn to these matte shades not only adds this shifty, sparkly finish, but it also adds a little bit of warmth to these otherwise very overall neutral undertoned matte shades. This doesn't really work as well. It doesn't show up as well with the metallic shades. Of course, you could add this in with the shimmers, but this is really where the dramatic transformation takes place when using this topper. You can use the same method that I mentioned when I was showing you the little shadow duos for a quick 2 shadow look, or you can basically create 5 new shimmer shades by using the combos of Dawn and the mattes in the palette to give a whole new set of possible eye looks. I want to go through and explain some of the shade names because a lot of these are really special and have kind of double meanings. Of course, all of the names are very of the natural world, floral, planty type of names. But a few of them are very meaningful to me. So I want to show you some close-ups of this and give you a little bit of insight into the personal nature of some of these shadow names. Oh my gosh, hi, there's me again. What? That's so weird. I also want to mention that this palette and all of the palettes from ODEN'S are cruelty-free, and all of their powder products are vegan. So this is safe for all of my cruelty-free and vegan friends to use. Starting with the shade Dawn, we've talked a lot about this already. Of course, Dawn is just another way to say sunrise, but it's also the name of my maternal aunt, my mom's older sister who passed away. She was an incredibly creative and dynamic. She was really an artist at heart. So this shadow that creates new shades is just really the perfect Dawn shade. Clover is a little bit more straightforward. Obviously, clovers are green, and I have a bunch of 3-leaf clover tattoos on my arm that are symbols for me for my sisters. So this shade is sort of representative of actual clovers and also sort of my tattoo for my sisters. Shroom is also very straightforward. I was actually kind of inspired by the cover art that has these very Alice in Wonderland looking mushrooms, and this is a very mushroomy shade. It's really my only main neutral, so that's Shroom. Best Buds is actually the name of a song that my son and I made up about ourselves. I will spare you my singing, but it's about how my son and I are best buds. So this shade is for him, and it's also his favorite shade in the palette, so that worked out well. Magnolia is the name of my current doggie, my little rescue girl. You may hear me reference her in videos. I call her Maggie. That's just her nickname, but her full name is Magnolia or Magnolia May or Maggie May. So this cool toned, very silvery, shimmery lavender shade is named for my little puppy. Moving on to azalea. I've always loved azaleas, but especially since my spouse and my son took me to the azalea gardens for Mother's Day back when we lived in the DC area. They're even more special and close to my heart now. Next, we have Sage, and Sage is the name of my previous doggie. She was also a rescue, and she has since gone to doggy heaven, but she's gonna live on and be commemorated with this sagey green shade. Now we have Misty. This is a reference to the John Denver song Country Roads. I grew up in West Virginia, so this song is very, very near and dear to my heart. My son insists that this is a Pokemon reference, so you can take it however works for you, but it is a Country Roads reference. I don't really have a cute story for Lush. This just felt like the right name for this shade. This is such a luscious, vibrant shade, and I feel like it brings so much life to the palette, so that's Lush. And lastly, we have Orchid. This is inspired by the time we spent living in Hawaii. My son was born in Hawaii, and orchids are everywhere, but especially these deep purple orchid lays were a staple of every major important event. That's a little rundown of all of the shades. If you're just listening, make sure you go back and watch because I wrote detailed descriptions of all the shades on the screen for you as well. Now I'm going to show you all of these shadows swatched in a bunch of different lighting situations, and I mean a bunch. So buckle up because you're going to see every different side of these shadows. First is just with my full studio ring light. That is a white light. Next, I want to show you an indirect light. So I'm using my phone flashlight, but this is what the shadows will look like with flash, and you can see a totally different side to them. It really brings out the sparkle, and it really brings out how different the two lighter green shimmers are. Best Buds and Misty can look a little bit more similar in full-on direct lighting, but when you see them in indirect light or sunlight, you can really tell how different they are and how dynamic that Misty shade is. I can't get enough of that one. Next, this is just what it's going to look like just walking around in your house or your office or school, wherever you are. This is regular indoor lighting with an overhead light bulb. And now you can see that dawn shade looks so much more golden versus how pink it is in the studio lighting. With the multi-chromes and how sparkly and dynamic the shimmers are, and these mattes having a very neutral undertone, they're gonna look so different. I mean, look at these are the exact same swatches shot in bright sunlight and then a warm studio light. So instead of that white ring light, this is a warmer studio light that's sort of meant to simulate sunlight, but you can tell it's not quite the same thing. I'm very adamant about showing a lot of different swatches, different applications, different lighting, because these things are gonna look different depending on which situations you're in. One of the things I see a lot as a reviewer and just posting on Instagram, people say, this looks different in every single picture. This palette looks different in every post I see. This is why, because these shades will look wildly different depending on if they're brush swatched or if they're in sunlight, what kind of bulb you're using. Are you using a flash? They're really going to show differently in those different situations, and I want you to feel fully prepared with what you're gonna get. So what you see is what you get. Now some super close-ups of the finger and brush swatches. These all perform really beautifully with both application methods. I'm super happy with how these turned out, and the brush swatches are done with a completely dry brush. I'm not dampening the brush. If you wanted a super metallic payout, you could do that as well. And also, if you have a different primer or a different base, you're going to get a different payoff there as well. I can't get enough of showing these with that indirect flash lighting. These sparkles are so intense and gorgeous. You can really see that with the indirect light. And the shade Misty has an almost brownish olive quality in this type of lighting. I concede I may have done a little bit of swatch overkill here, but my philosophy is better to have too many swatches than not enough. So hopefully this is useful information, or at least just pretty things for your eyeballs to enjoy. Now that you've had the whole scoop, the close-ups, the info, and the swatches for the Flora Story palette, I also want to show you some close-ups and swatches using the Planet Spirit, which is Betty Jean's palette, and the Sea Talk, which is Lauren May Beauty's palette. Both of these are so different, so beautifully curated, and I genuinely really like all three of these palettes. I love the way that they work together, and I love what my friends have created. So let's take a look at Planet Spirit and Sea Talk now. Planet Spirit is up first. Here's the adorable Batty Bean hanging out with a whole menagerie of animals. I'm going to give you a close-up so that you can appreciate all the beautiful details. These are laid out the same way with the ingredients on the sleeve and then the shade names on the back of the actual palette. The shades in the Planet Spirit palette are so bright, so vibrant, so filled with joy. This is like a party in a palette. This makes my eyeballs so happy every time I look at it. These mattes have a sort of zebra print, and her palette is also half matte, half shimmer. And you can definitely imagine these shades in those little duo pairs, just like Flora Story. I think that makes a really bold, colorful palette like this very easy to use, very user-friendly. These shades are so stunning, so impactful. This is definitely the brightest, most colorful of the three, and it's going to work beautifully on its own for really colorful eye looks, or if you feel like you need to punch up the more toned down kind of neutrally shades in Flora Story and Sea Talk, then Planet Spirit has a whole array of really bright, stunning colors. I love how foily the metallic shades are here. These all apply beautifully with both the finger and the brush, and they really blend beautifully as well. I typically prefer to apply metallic shades with the fingertip versus a brush, but these perform really well with a flat eyeshadow brush if you're looking for a little bit more precision, or if you just don't prefer to apply shadows with your finger. You can tell from these brush swatches that they work super well with a flat eyeshadow brush. These colors are so fun. I love the way that Betty Jean curated these shadows together. They make me want to grab a drink with a little umbrella and just go on a tropical vacation. Now we're going to talk about the Sea Talk palette. This is Lauren's palette, and here is a cutie little mermaid. She's just hanging out on the reef with some tropical fish friends. ODEN'S never misses with their packaging. I know that I'm very biased now because this is a collaboration video announcement for me, but come on. It's whimsical, it's cute, it's fun, it fits the vibe, it fits the theme. I really, really, really like it. Looking inside, we have a beautiful balance of neutral shades, colorful shades, cooler tones, warmer tones. This seems to be sort of divided in half to me, with the first quad there being all neutrals, half more cool toned, half more warm toned, and then the very end quad is all of the blue colors, and then in between we have this little pop of vibrancy. The shade Electric Kelp is so cool. It's like a satin shade. It's a bit unexpected, but it somehow ties the whole color scheme together so well. I think she did an amazing job curating the color stories in here, and I can imagine 100 different looks that I would do with these shades. I've been on the brink of entering my blue eyeshadow girl era for a while now, and this palette is for sure going to be the one that pushes me over the edge. All of the shadows swatched together are breathtakingly beautiful. You could definitely do a variety of very neutral, very toned down looks, or you can really amp it up and go for that Electric Kelp shade, do a bunch of different type of blue looks. This palette is more heavy on the shifty, shimmery shades, and it makes perfect sense with the theme. I feel like if I never saw the packaging, I didn't know the shade names or the name of the palette, and I saw these shades swatched together, I would get an underwater feeling. I would get an under the sea, treasure hunting with mermaids type of feeling. When you see all these shades together, I feel like the Sea Talk palette is the perfect bridge between Flora Story and Planet Spirit. It works so well between those two palettes, with those two palettes, and it just feels like the perfect puzzle piece, the perfect bridge to really make this a trio. I am just so excited and nervous and all of the feelings all wrapped up into one. But overall, I'm just really happy to finally be able to tell you about this, to show everything on camera. I'm so excited. I have loved working with ODEN'S. I love my fellow collaborators. I love the palette that I made. And I'll tell you kind of a funny story, because those of you who watch my videos have been way more involved in this process than you even know. I had just finalized the shades, given the final sign off. These are the shades that are going in the palette. And I was feeling so overwhelmed by the finality of these are the shades, this is the order they're going in, these are the names, like everything, this is going into production. That felt so daunting to me, and I was second and third and fourth guessing myself and thinking, oh, I should have just done something entirely different. And the day after I was having that, I've signed off on the final palette meltdown, I'm not going to share their name because I don't know how they would feel about being included in this video. The day after I was having that meltdown, somebody commented something else about the video that they were commenting on, and then it said, when are you going to do a collab with a brand? We need a green and purple palette curated by you with some duochromes. I need to remember why I designed the palette the way that I did. That comment just completely turned things around for me. So thank you if the person who left that comment ever sees this. You really helped. You didn't even know it. But you really helped. And I've gotten a lot of different comments like that over the past year. I've had people questioning, when are you going to do a collab? You need to make a palette like this. You need to do that. Those things have really encouraged me and really helped me to make this a reality. I just am so thankful that this is real life. This is an incredible feeling. It's an incredible opportunity. I love what I created. I love what Lauren and Betty Jean created. And I really hope that you're going to love them too. It's okay if you don't. It's okay. Not everything is for everyone. So it's okay if you don't love it. I promise. Even if this palette isn't for you, or even if this doesn't work for you, or you for some reason or the other can't or don't want to participate in this, I just thank you for watching this video. I thank you for participating on my channel or my Instagram or wherever it is that you hang out with me online. I just really appreciate it. I appreciate all of you. At the risk of getting a little bit too sappy, sorry about that part. It's just, you know, this is a big thing. I'm gonna be showing you a lot of looks with Flora Story. I'm working on a 3 looks 1 palette. Obviously, I'll be giving you more than just 3 looks as inspiration. I'm also going to be doing looks with my friends' palettes as well, of course. So lots of fun eye look inspiration coming soon. You're probably gonna be sick of me talking about this palette soon, but you know what? This is a once in a lifetime thing and I'm really excited about it, so you're gonna have to forgive me. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye. Oh my goodness. Probably ruined this shirt by sweating through it, but I did do it. I did accomplish what I came here to do. It took me literally all day to film this video, but I did it. Yes. Oh my gosh. I'm so happy. I didn't cry. I did get a little bit sappy. Okay, I just have a lot of feelings. I have so many feelings inside. Oh my gosh, I don't even know if that was a good thumbnail. I don't know. I've been sitting in this room trying to film this video for so long. And you probably hear people say that all the time. And it's like, oh, that's the thing you say. It's almost 6 o'clock. I have been trying to work on this video all day. Is this real life? This doesn't feel like real life. See, here's my dug into, busted up one that I've been using for the past couple of months. What am I talking about? What am I saying? Ugh. What is happening? What in the world is happening? I'll tell you what's happening. I am pouring sweat. All right, I'm going to get it together. I am going to get it together. Am I? Aren't I? The last thing I should be having is caffeine right now. I'm literally shaking. And yet here we are. I've been testing wearing this palette, taking photos of me wearing this palette. I've been recording my eye looks to see how the blends look on camera and how does it wear on the eye, and I have been obsessively testing this palette. I am fine. I'm fine. When in doubt, gloss it out. Okay, I am going to go step away from my camera now because I'm just gonna be proud of myself that I finally finished filming this video, even though it literally was an entire day of me like stalling and working myself up and staring into space while I ate Pop-Tarts. True story, that did happen. I just sat here and stared at the wall and ate Pop-Tarts because I did not know what to do. But I will give you a little close-up preview because I love this eye look. Like, come on. Of course, there will be a tutorial because this is my current favorite look from the palette, but oh man. Look how beautiful it is. I love it. I love it. I don't know if I'm supposed to have a favorite, but this shade Misty is my favorite shade in the palette. This is what the whole palette was basically built around, was this green that's on my lid. I love it so much. I love it so much. Okay. You know what? I'm gonna go make a taco and do some skincare and put on some really, really comfy jammies and just relax because it's been a day. It's been a day filled with anxiety. I'm gonna go celebrate finally finishing filming this video with some tacos. I'm super excited. Okay, thanks for watching. I will have another video very, very soon with some looks, and I will have lots more videos talking about this forever and ever because I'm really excited because I made it and I'm sorry, but also kind of not sorry, you know? You know what I mean? I wouldn't want you to be sorry if it was your palette. You know what I mean? Anyway, the point is, I love your face so much. So much! Okay, that was aggressive. Sorry. Love your face. Bye.